What's up, y'all? Matt in the Hat, John North Ford Lincoln Nissan here in Emporia. Welcome to Car Confessions. I come to you every single week with some type of sales tip, tactic, or topic that I discuss, whether it's sales in general, specifically about the car business, and some must-know that I give to y'all every week. I also alternate in some interviews with entrepreneurs, small business owners that are brave enough to come on and allow me to interview them to see what makes them different, what separates them from somebody that just punches that time clock, does that 9 to 5 grind every day, does it just Monday through Friday, has the weekends, holidays off, and you know what motivates them, why do they do it. This is episode number 52. And I was really trying to come up with an episode this week, and I wasn't sure what to do. And then with one of my customers yesterday, and then again today, it just clicked. So here are my 7 tips, 7 must-knows of a test drive. So is a test drive important? Let's start there. Yes, it is. Is it a must? I could go either way. I would say it's a must, but at the same time, I've sold to people that never drove it till they paid for it or they signed the paperwork. That just happened a few days ago. Guy came in looking at a car, never test drove it, liked the way it looked, liked the way it felt, wrote us a check, and never drove it till he drove off the lot. I would say it's important because every vehicle is going to drive different, which is another question that I put in the description here. I've had people say they all drive the same. Yes and no. Are F-150s going to drive the same if they're within a couple years of each other? Typically. Is a Chevy and a Ford or a Dodge or a Toyota going to drive the same? No, they're not. That's why we like you to drive them, and that's why we want you to get behind the wheel and see what you like, see what you don't like, get comfortable with it. So the first one I want to start off with is the model. So this is an alert to everybody out there. For example, the gentleman that I spoke to this morning, he came in asking about a Ford F-150 Lariat. There was specific equipment that he wanted. He wanted the BLIS, which is the blind spot information system. He wanted the lane keep assist and departure warning and navigation. All those are standard on a 502 Lariat. However, the vehicle that he wanted to test drive was, because I didn't have a Lariat, the vehicle he wanted to test drive was a Platinum. So that's 2 steps above a Lariat. So he looked at it like the power running boards, like the massage seats, and there were so many things about it he liked, but not all of those are available on the Lariat like they were on the Platinum. At the same time, I had another guy that just left a couple hours ago. He was asking about a Lariat, but was comparing it to an XLT. So, where first guy, Lariat is here, Platinum, 2 steps. Other guy, XLT, 1 step down. So it's not going to have leather. It's not going to have cooled seats. It's not going to have navigation. Blind spot is optional. So it is still available, but it is not standard like it is in a Lariat. So you have to know what you're driving, and you have to know, and be sure to ask, because your salesman should know what's standard and what's optional on a new vehicle. Now, used are going to be tricky because they vary by year, but that salesperson should know what's standard, what's optional, and they should be able to tell you. All you have to do is ask. It's going to be that simple, because it's hard to compare, a base or middle of the road XLT to, a loaded up Lariat. They're just two different vehicles or two different beasts. You can't do it. Number two, when you test drive, go on roads you know. So go on roads that you drive every day, that you're familiar with, that you know what to expect. Why do I say that? Because this allows you to control a lot of the variables. You want to control as many variables as possible, because you don't want to be driving a vehicle that you don't know also on roads you don't know, because there's going to be a difference of how that handles in your comfort level on a road you know versus a road that you don't know. You don't want to be driving on a road that you're not familiar with, and you're just gripping and you're just tense because you're gripping that steering wheel and looking because you're so nervous because you don't know where you're at. The salesperson should know the route that you're going, as well as give you the freedom to go a different route. So, for example, I had a young lady yesterday. She drove a specific vehicle, and she wanted to go out on the highway because she knew she was going to be doing a lot of highway driving. She didn't know that on the edge that she drove, as long as the cruise control was okay, that she was fine. Once she had to take the cruise control off because it was real kind of stop and go, then she noticed the seat was a little more uncomfortable because she's short. Driving a Murano, that base of that seat's a little bit shorter. She was fine, but she didn't notice that till driving, 15, 20 miles. So what'd we do? We ended up driving about 45 miles to compare what the difference would be. But we did that because she does all highway driving. That's what she knows, is all highway driving. The route that I typically take people that are from this area, or from Kansas anyways, I take them in town as well as some highway driving, because that's what most people do, is they will do the occasional highway driving, mostly in town stop and go traffic. So when you're doing that, pay attention to the road noise, especially in the stop and go. Listen to the bumps going up and down, hitting the potholes. See how that sounds. How does that road noise sound at higher speeds on the highway? Is the window whistling? Is it making noise? Is there noise coming from the back? All these will come into play if you're on the road that you know and you're familiar with. Number 3, comparing vehicles. I'm guilty of this as a salesperson, so bear with me, because when you compare vehicles, you want to compare new for new, or newer for newer. You don't want to compare your 2007 F-150 that's got 126,000 miles to a 2018 F-150 with 17 miles. I mean, that's just two different worlds. Anything newer than that 2007 is going to drive better. So comparing those together, not ideal, not going to give you the best picture. What will give you the best idea and comparison is comparing the new for new, or newer for newer, if you prefer. So create a short list, basically, of your hot list of what vehicles you like, what vehicles you're interested in, and you're comfortable with. So whether that's a Chevy Silverado, a Ford F-150, Nissan Titan, if those are your 3, get similar years, miles, and equipment that you're interested in, and drive those. You want to compare those 3 vehicles within 1 to 2 years of each other, not your 11-year-old vehicle with a brand new truck, because anything newer than that is going to be better, drive better, and that's really going to skew your comparison. Number 4 I kind of mentioned earlier in number 2 with the road you know, but number 4 is drive time or distance. Is there a certain number? Is there so far that you should go? Now this will vary on who you ask. Most salespeople will take you on a test drive that's, 4 or 5 miles, maybe last 7 to 10 minutes. I very rarely do that. In fact, the young lady that I was talking about earlier, she told me she was so appreciative and so thankful that we drove almost 45 miles. We talked the entire time. And she was so appreciative and so happy because the previous dealership that she came from, they literally drove around the block. The block that she was on, they drove around. It ended up being almost 6 blocks. 6 blocks. Are you kidding me? Who the fuck drives 6 blocks? Come on, man. And she does all highway driving, so in town is irrelevant for her. It doesn't matter her in-town driving because she drives all highway. So why would that salesperson just say, yep, you're going to take a right here, take a right here, take a right here, take a right here, and we're going to go back to the dealership? So yes, test drive time and distance does matter. And if you are that guy that takes them around the block, I'm going to get you every time, and I'm going to sell it over you every time. Why? Because you have to be driving long enough to get comfortable behind the wheel, play with the stereo. You have to adjust the seat, adjust the mirrors. Maybe after you're driving for 10 minutes, the seat's just not right, and you need to adjust and then drive a little longer. Maybe you're all highway driving and you don't need to drive in town, but you want to drive at higher speeds and for longer, like the young lady yesterday, because that's what she knows. That's what she does. That's real world for her. I've also taken people, for truck buyers, I have one specific road that I take them down. Management hates it. Detail hates it because truck comes back dirty. I have also driven 40 miles on a test drive with the customer just to see if it fits in his garage. Just to see if the truck fit in his garage. Guess what? It did. We came back. He signed, took delivery, was ecstatic because I was the only one that didn't look up specs online and say, yep, here's what it is, go measure. We took the truck to his house, pulled it in his garage, closed the door, see how much room that he had on the sides, front, and the back. So if you're that guy, that girl that takes him around the block, I'm going to get you every time. Number 5, lifestyle. This is important to a lot of people. Why is this important? Yes, your budget is going to play a little bit into this as well, but if you're looking for something, if you have a boat, you have a camper, let's say I want a pontoon boat, so we'll go with that. I want a pontoon boat. Those are 3,000-4,000 pounds. I want a truck. I want an F-150. Wife wants an Explorer. Anybody that knows me, knows my wife, knows we would end up with an Explorer. And knowing, excuse me, knowing that, if I was that customer and nobody asked if I had a boat, I wouldn't know that, there's 2 different packages on Explorers. One, because with that kind of boat, you need at least a Class 3 towing hitch. You need a tow package. The Explorer comes with and without. If you don't ask, you don't know, and that's something that you have to know. You have to be willing to ask. Also, do you live in town? Do you live out in the country? Do you hunt? Do you fish? Are you off-road on a regular basis? Do you learn? I'm gonna use the young lady from yesterday again. Where her parents live is mostly dirt and sand, so the tires that are on the vehicle she's looking at be just fine. She will have no issues. Because they live on about 7.5 miles of gravel one way. Around here, those tires wouldn't last because it's flint rock around here. That will chew through those tires because those tires are only 4-ply tires. So that's something that needs to be asked as well. Like with her, she does a lot of driving, a lot of traveling. Are you, as a consumer, going to be doing a lot of traveling? How many kids do you have? Do you have 1? Do you have 2? Do you have 6? How often do you take trips? Are you going to have enough cargo? Are you looking for fuel economy, or are you looking for space to pack all of your crap and your kids' crap in the back of the vehicle? These are all important. These all lead to the lifestyle, as well as what type of hobbies do you do? Like I said, do you hunt? Do you fish? Do you golf? Do you ride bikes? All of this is important, because if you are a golfer and you're looking at a car, maybe it's a sports car. Will your clubs fit in the back? Are you gonna go with your spouse? Are you gonna go with a buddy of yours? Will 2 sets of clubs fit in the trunk? Might be a good thing to find out, and might be a good thing to know, because you don't know if you don't ask. Number 6, when you're on the test drive, number 6, be a passenger, because that translates into playtime. What do I mean by that? By being a passenger in that vehicle, you are going to get a completely different feel and vibe from that vehicle. You're going to be paying more attention to how the vehicle rides. You're going to be paying attention to, you're going to be playing, you want to connect your phone. If you connect it, or